Hey guys, this is Amazement Invoked 101. I just got up, so if I sound a little different, it's because I just woke up, and I wasn't super happy with the Phantom Knight profile, so I decided to test out some other stuff, and that's kind of how I came up with this. This is the pure version of Amazement. This is what I feel is actually better than the previous profile, so this is what I'm going to be playing as this deck for a while, at least until I can either figure out the Eldritch variant or if the Phantom Knight variant ends up being a little better. But I'll keep you guys updated with that over on my Instagram, which you can follow through the description, as well as before we get into this, if you want to check out the merch that we have, all of those are down in the description. We have stickers, we have the new Speedroid merch, check it out. And no outro or intro for this video. I'm also trying out something different. I'm just going to upload this one straight from my phone and see how that does. But yeah, without that further ado, let's get the spells and traps off the side. We'll talk about the main deck monsters. It's a very monster light, I guess. We're just playing the two Arclinos, which if you didn't see the previous profile, I'm going to talk about all the Amazement stuff once again, because this is still a pretty new deck. It says once per turn, you can banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard, then target that many cards your opponent controls and destroy them. You can only use the following effects once per turn. If a trap card is activated, except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then it says, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can target one of those face-up monsters they control, target it. You can target it, equip one attraction trap from your deck to that target. So really cool being able to equip stuff from the deck and also summoning itself from the hand. Much like Multi-Faker, that's why we call this guy Handsome Faker, so yeah. Anyways, then we have the Kamika, which is basically the Marionetter. So what it says, when this card is normal summoned, you can set one attraction trap directly from your deck, and then it has a quick effect that is shared by this card and Bufo, which is that you can target one of your attraction traps equipped to a monster, and then you can either equip it to an Amazement or a monster your opponent controls. So she lets you change them around, and as does Bufo. Speaking of Bufo, there he is, the little bear boy. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one attraction trap in your graveyard and one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip that target to the opponent's monster, and then it has the quick effect to switch. The final real monster we play is 3 Absolute King Backjack. I can't remember who told me to play this card when this deck first got revealed, but I was talking about it and I was talking about what it did, and one of my buddies was like, oh, you should play Backjack in that. Or maybe I'm thinking of when I played Paleo, and then I just realized I needed this because this was all normal traps. But either way, shout out to Ryan, Gara's brother, for hooking me up with the third one. That was really cool. I wish I could shout out who got me the other two, because I sold all my Backjacks a while ago when I got rid of Paleo, so shout out to that. Also, shout out to Gara himself for hooking me up with the second Arclino and the ticket, and not the ticket, the Cyclone Coaster. Yeah, he got me those. 3 Ash is the final monster. I guess I'll explain Backjack for those who don't know real quick. Backjack, if he's sent to the graveyard or when, you can reveal. You can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then stack them in any order. Then during your opponent's turn, you can banish him and reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a normal trap, you can set it and activate it that turn. So he's really cool for just getting an extra little thing. And he's also a level 1 0/0, which is an incredible stat line for just getting something off the field, because that means he goes into basically some of the best linked ones that there are. But yeah, so that's it for the monsters. Like I said, really small monster count. For spells, we play 3 Amazing Time Tickets. Shout out to James for hooking me up with the first one. I got the other 2 one from Warren at our sneak peek, and one from one of the other guys there at our sneak peek who won it in the raffle, but I ended up getting both of those. But yeah, Amazing Time Ticket is a quick play spell. It says pay 800 and then apply an effect based on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, you can add one Amazement card from your deck to your hand, and then if it's your opponent's turn, you can set an attraction trap directly from the deck. So really cool card, really useful for the strategy. It's a Rhoda, it's also a trap trick, it's fantastic. Then we play 3 Pot of Extravagance. This deck does not need it, and also big thanks to Mio. There's going to be a lot of shout-outs in this one, because this deck was really put together. But yeah, shout out to Mio once again. She actually stopped using these because she's testing a really cool version of Madolche, and this just got cut from it because it didn't do anything per se in that version. But in this deck where you don't need an extra deck, this is perfect. So yeah, and I also don't have Prosperities, or else I'd be playing those instead of this. But I do have Dualities. There's not a lot of special summoning going on in this, except with Backjack on turn 1. So as long as you Duality and you don't select Backjack, or you just get something off that like Arclino, you should be fine, or you could just get more traps. The only thing, like I said, that you can't really do is the Backjack stuff whenever you have this card. And then the last card is 1 Upstart Goblin. Last spell. I just needed another card to play. I might end up playing something else, but I wanted slightly more consistency, and I couldn't really think of another card to put into the deck. Moving to the traps, which is easily the most important part of this deck, we have 3 Amazement family faces. This is not an attraction trap, this is an Amazement, so you do have to either hard draw or search it off time ticket. This is a really cool card. It is a Snatch Steal. So it says target 1 monster your opponent controls equipped with your attraction traps. Traps. Equip this card to it. While this card is equipped to a monster, take control of the equipped monster, and while you control the equipped monster, it gains 500 attack. You cannot activate its effects. Also, it's treated as an Amazement monster. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. So I guess it's more like a Comic Hand than anything else, because like Comic Hand, it turns it into a tune. This turns it into an Amazement. That's really cool. There is some really insane stuff you can do with this card, and I'm sorry if stuff keeps going in and out of focus. My phone is really bad with that, and I'm gonna talk about that first. So I played 2 Cyclo Coaster because I only own 2. I would like to get a 3rd one, which is probably what Upstart will be once I get the 3rd Cyclo Coaster. Because this plus this is insane. So what this says, it says target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. Oh, so this lets you either target, so all the attraction traps either target an Amazement you control or a card your opponent controls, and then based on who controls it, it does a different thing. So it does the equip, and then it says if you control it, target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. Send both it and this card to the graveyard. But if it's your opponent's monster, you can add 1 Amazement monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, send this card to the graveyard. So this card plus this card is really cool, because what you can do, you activate this targeting your opponent's monster. On resolution, you chain family faces targeting the monster you equipped with this. You chain attraction Cyclo Coaster to search Arclino and as Chainlink 2. This gets sent to the graveyard, Arclino's in hand. This still targeted something that was equipped with an Amazement trap, so this resolves, stealing the opponent's monster, and on end of the resolution of that chain, you get a special summon the Arclino from your hand that you just searched. It is insane. Like, that's such a cool interaction to me, and I love that. I love when decks can do really stupid things, such as that, where you just take your opponent's monster and then also get a free guy. That's insane. Next up, I will show off probably one of the more important ones, along with Cyclo Coaster. This is probably their best trap. Amazement, Amaze Attraction Horror House. Horror House does the equip thing, and then if you control the monster, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. If your opponent controls that monster, change it to face down defense position. So that's really cool. And something else, Kamika and Bufa are quick effects, so you can activate this and then chain Kamika to equip this to Kamika to save it. So that's something you can you can think about whenever playing this deck, is that because this would send itself to the graveyard. This sends itself to the graveyard no matter what, but if you use this to flip, it would send itself. So that's really cool. The last one I played was 1 Wonder Wheel. I didn't play the go-karts or the merry-go-round. I felt that those didn't do anything, and the only reason I played 1 Wonder Wheel is because it can trigger in damage step. Because it does the equip, and then it says if you control it during the main phase, place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, then draw a card. So that's kind of nice. But the other effect is if your opponent controls it, switch the equipped monster's current attack and defense, not original, current, until the end of the turn. So that's really cool. This can activate, and like I said, because it modulates damage, it modulates damage values, you can chain it in the damage step. So that's really nice. Of course, since we have a multi-faker in the deck, we gotta play 3 infinite impermanents to trigger it on our turn, going second. So if our opponent goes first, we can hit them with the impermanent, summon our Clino, and then our Clino can start equipping these guys from the deck. Then after that, I played 2 Solemn Strike, 2 Solemn Judgment, and 1 Imperial Order. I don't feel there's a lot of spells that are super important in the deck. It's mostly just pots. It's all draw spells and Rhoda. So I was like, I could play Imperial Order and then like draw into it and stuff. But yeah, lots of normal traps. All of these are normal traps. So all the Amaze attractions and the impermanences are normal traps. So they all are targets for Backjack, which is really nice. But that's it for the main deck. And I like this lineup. Like I said, the only thing I might change is this. I would love to play a third Cyclo Coaster. The issue is that like they're all hard once per turns on all the attractions, so that is pretty difficult. For the extra deck, it is an extravagance deck, so a lot of stuff is getting banished. But I played 3 Link Karibo for the Backjack, 1 Anima for the Backjack, and 1 Almirage for the Backjack. The chances that all 5 of these are getting banished off extravagance are extremely low when you banish 6. The chances that 3 of them will, yeah, totally. The good thing about Link Karibo is that if Backjack doesn't need to be linked away to get his effect, he just needs to be sent to the graveyard, so you can just tribute it off Link Karibo and do its effect that way. So as long as I still have 1 Link Karibo, I'm set. As long as I have 1 of these guys, I can at least trigger it on turn 1. Then we played 2 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, and because I can only have 1 Cerberus, apparently, and 2 Unicorn. I wish I had another Cerberus that I could find, and I would play 2 of that, but yeah. So 2 Unicorn, and then the rest of these are just Link 2s. So yeah, this is mostly stuff to make with your opponent's stuff, and then same with this, just Proxy Dragon, Land Phalanx. I thought Pentastag was kind of cool, so I put him in here, and then Saryuja and Boral Sword. Some of this stuff, like these, I'm never going to summon, so it's just to fill out the extra deck. But yeah, definitely this stuff is kind of important. And then I would say the Nightmare package is kind of important too. I would play that 100%. But it's an extravagance deck, so you know how it is. Most of the stuff does get banished. And that's it. I really am excited for this deck. I have been excited for this deck since it got revealed. I did get a little like whatever about it whenever I first started playtesting it, and that was mostly because like I just didn't know how to do this deck, and then I started looking at it more as like an Altergeist variant, and I was like, okay, well, let's see this, and kind of throwing in some paleo stuff and some guru strategy with the Pot of Extravagance and dualities for consistency and whatnot. And yeah, it really bumped this deck up in my eyes. It has added a lot of stuff to this, and we're also getting a new monster in Dawn of Majesty, so that's going to be really fun. And yeah, tell me what you guys thought about this deck in the comments below. If you're interested, I do actually run the Facebook group for this, so if you want to check out this deck and see what some other people are doing with that, I'll put a link to that Facebook group in the description of this video. And with that all said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.